This exclusive Fortnite item was in an LTM for only 23 hours, and then it was removed, never to be seen again. Today, I'm going over 20 LTMs that most of you have completely forgotten about. Builder's Paradise. This was a mode where you could edit each other's builds. Not only that, the builds actually had way more HP and all materials dropped much more frequently. This was honestly insanely fun and like super aggressive gameplay. Overall, it didn't really last. It's kind of a very chaotic mode. I don't think it'll ever be a part of the game. So this one's going to shock you guys. There was actually a payload LTM in Fortnite. I mean, we've seen different games have like payload mechanics. In the Spy Games LTM, all the way back in season 2, Epic added an 8v8 payload mode where there was one team that had to get near this payload and kind of push it across the map. The other team had to kill them and stop them. And there was this hovering truck that you had to stay near. It was the payload. I've never seen anything like this floating truck before. I personally forgot about this one. I don't know about you guys. This next one I do remember, and I don't think it was in the game for a long time. This one's called Storm Chasers. In this mode, the storm was constantly moving and it was closing in really, really fast. And when you hopped out of the battle bus, you didn't deploy your glider. You actually deployed a surfboard to ride around faster than the storm. There were no guns in this mode. The only way to eliminate players was to actually impulse them into the storm. This was a very unique one, and I honestly hope we see it again. So this one is actually the Fortnite Combine, all right? It was in the final update of Season X, right before the end event. And basically, it was a course where you queued up and you had to go through and kill a bunch of targets. And you had to go through the course as fast as possible. And if you got a really low time, there was actually a global leaderboard that would show you if you were like top 10 in the world. They should probably try to bring this back in a unique way, maybe switch it up. So this one is a pretty weird LTM. It was called the Fortnite Loadout Swap. You dropped out of the battle bus and everyone in the game had the same loadout, and whichever squad reached the elimination goal would win. But every 30 seconds you would get a completely new loadout and it would just kind of cycle through. This one was kind of just a little bit lackluster, kind of having to wait, randomly swapping every 30 seconds. So it didn't return and a lot of people definitely forgot about it. Okay, so at the Game Awards all the way back in 2017, Epic famously dropped the 50 versus 50 LTM. And I remember hopping on to play 50 versus 50 for the very first time. It was such a cool, awesome moment. Shortly after, they decided to try teams of 33. So 3 teams of 33 with 3 battle buses. That was also fun. It was a little bit more chaotic. And then they dropped teams of 12. And this one was actually really weird because when the circle got small, a countdown would start and whichever team had the most amount of players would automatically win. That doesn't sound very exciting, and it was pretty much forgotten after it left. Okay, so this LTM is called Use with Care. And the way it worked is at the start of the match, you were given 200 wood, 150 brick, and 100 metal, and you couldn't farm and gain any more mats throughout the match. So you pretty much had only those materials. So you had to be very strategic about when you decided to build. But this pretty much led to a bunch of camping, since you had to save your builds until the very end. And honestly, this one was not that fun. Next, we have Power Up. This one was played in 2 different phases. In part 1, respawns are on. You go around the map and you drink shields, increasing your max shield capacity. Supply drops had a ton of big pots, so you could get to 1,000 or even 2,000 HP. Then in phase 2, everyone's respawns are turned off and everyone gets full shields and they fight until one player wins. This mode was absolutely insane. Close range DPS was actually really good against these kind of people with thousands of health. This was only in the game for 1 day. I didn't get to play this. I didn't even know this was a thing. So a lot of you guys might remember Food Fight, where it was like a twist on 50 versus 50. The map was split in half. There was a big wall in the middle, and then the wall would drop and you would start eliminating each other. Well, do you remember Food Fight Deep Fried? This one was a little bit of a weird one. The buildings you had to protect spawned in the sky, and lava would actually slowly rise from the ground. I have no idea who thought of this one, but I'm not necessarily hoping it comes back. Okay, this one's gonna get a lot of you guys. This is one of the most forgotten Fortnite LTMs. It's called Team Terror. It was released in Season 6 and was pretty much 32 versus 32 players. The only real difference is that zombies were enabled throughout the map. It's very obscure, and a lot of you guys probably don't remember this one. Guys, I did my research. Now, this one you probably remember, especially if you're a fan of Save the World, but I remember when they brought in the Storm King. You basically spawned in the middle of the Chapter 2 island, and the Storm King has taken over. You had to fight him with your squad to take him down. He had a lot of health, and it took you like 20 to 30 minutes to take him down. I honestly really like this mode, and I would like for them to bring it back and maybe include some sort of leaderboard for whoever can take down the Storm King the fastest. So Food Fight Deep Fried was weird, but not as weird as headshots only. So this was like a normal Fortnite match, except you could only do damage to people by shooting them in the head. So some people decided to meme this and would do cartwheels or the backflip emote constantly without really worrying about getting eliminated. I would honestly love for them to bring this back, especially now that a lot of players have much better aim and we have like first shot accuracy and OGs, and it would be some good practice to kind of run some headshot only matches, work on getting those headshots. There was an LTM that was 0 builds before the 0 build mode came out. Epic released an LTM called FRIGHT. It was during the Fortnitemares 2019, and it was a 2v2 mode where both teams got the same loadout and they spawned in and had to eliminate each other. Whoever gets the most round wins takes it home. If they ever add some sort of Fortnite gulag, this is what I would expect. So this one's kind of obscure. Epic was trying to create some creative LTMs at the end of Chapter 1, and they came up with this war-themed beach assault mode. You'd either be storming the beach or defending your base from the attackers. It was all gritty and war-themed, and this wasn't a map. This was an actual LTM, and it makes sense why they haven't brought this one back. So this one I remember, I actually really like this one. Tank battles. It's super unique. So you would spawn in with 500 health and 500 shield, and you couldn't find extra shields or heals anywhere on the map. The only way to heal yourself was by getting siphoned from kills. So they also turned up headshot multipliers, so you were really rewarded for hitting headshots, and the strategy ended up being really different in this game mode. I actually kind of miss this one and hope that when they bring it back. Okay, so this next one is very similar to a lot of challenges you've seen on YouTube, but this one is the bare bones LTM, where your entire HUD was turned off. You had no idea where the storm was going, how many players were left. I remember playing this in duos. Everything was actually pretty fun. I would honestly like for them to bring this back because it was kind of like a hardcore mode of Fortnite. So next up, we have Ice Storm. So in Season 7, at the event near Polar Peak, the Ice King came out and he covered the entire map with snow. However, very few people remember that they actually released an LTM called Solos and Duos Ice Storm. There was extreme fog and snow the entire time. Doesn't sound exciting, but I'm telling you this, I don't remember this one. You guys remember back in 2019, Epic Games did the Share the Love event where they gave every creator 4 times the creator code bonus, and Ninja apparently made like $5 million in 1 month from this. Everyone was so focused on that and the free skins and wraps, but people forgot that there was a love shot mode, which was Fortnite but only crossbows, and everyone has 50 HP and 100 shield. Speaking of supporter creator, guys, I put out a challenge that if we reach over 100,000 supporter creator members, I will cosplay as Chun-Li. Use creator code SypherPK in the item shop, and that might happen. Okay, so this one's probably the most boring LTM. It was called Going Green, and it got released on St. Patrick's Day. And if you haven't guessed, it's just Fortnite, but all the weapon rarities are green. No special items, pretty much solid gold, but worse. And I'm kind of glad this one hasn't come back. Like it was just green weapons. Why would you want to play that? But do you know which LTM has not come back? The Fortnite item that was so exclusive, it was only in this LTM for 23 hours, not even a full day. The Splashdown LTM and the new water balloon item that was in the LTM, which has to be one of the most forgettable items in Fortnite history. It was the squad mode with respawns on, where the first team to reach 60 eliminations would win. Everyone in the mode had 30 HP, and the only way to damage people was to hit them with a water balloon. And it makes sense that this was only in the game for a day and was permanently removed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.